Alright, what's up guys? I'm back after a long cryogenic stasis, and I'm here to bring you a probably just about under 10 minute, just around 10-minute video breaking down the Sharpedos draft this season. And I'm sure if you're familiar with the GBA, or even if you're subscribed to my channel, the GBA has a system where we select Pokemon under certain contract lengths to use for a certain amount of seasons. Now, those seasons, those contracts are a 3, 2, and 1 year season, and then a mega draft where that mon is only selected for 1 year. So, alright, so last season, um, we got into the playoffs. I don't remember my record. I think it was 9-5 or something. And we only made it to the first round, and I lost to Joe. Now, I haven't made a video since. Hell, I don't even think my video against Joe went up. Can't even tell you why. I think I never got someone to record it, and if I did, I never got the video file back to upload myself and narrate. If you're really curious, I think it's live narrated on the GBA channel or even on Steve's channel, and then it's probably on Joe's channel, I think. Anyway, moving on to this season. When I looked at my team last year I had Starmie, Mandibuzz, and Blissey before I went to draft. When I dropped those 3 Pokemon at the end of last season, along with Charizard Y. Now, that team was very electric weak with Staraptor, Starmie, Mandibuzz, and Charizard all being weak to electric. Now, when I dropped those Pokemon, my team became a little more balanced. I lost some very glaring weaknesses. However, I still wanted to pick up some good mons that were available in free agency and even that had just been recently dropped by other teams to fill my team. So, on my roster now, I'm going to go my 1-year contract, my 2-year contract, my 3-year contracts. On my 1-year contracts, I have 3 very physical mons, being Scizor, Staraptor, and Hitmontop. I'll just briefly go over, what these 3 mons do. Scizor, Bullet Punch, yeah, it's the U-turn, that's pretty much it. I've used Scizor in a lot of different ways, between like being a Spadef Scizor and even Baton Pass over the seasons. I like to I'll incorporate it much more now because, well, let's think about it. I don't have a mon that brings out the sun, being Charizard Y. I don't have 2 Pokemon that are quad weak to fire. So I think it'll be a little easier for me to incorporate Scizor plus like Swampert or Scizor plus Arcanine, so that if they do bring a fire attacker, I have something to kind of absorb those hits and not pay the price. Staraptor hits really hard, and I like its speed. And that's why I traded it last season for Hydreigon around like week 10 or 11. Hydreigon wasn't doing much for me in terms of, Dragon, because I already had Latias and Kyurem, who basically do Hydreigon's job best, and they're also 2 separate mons. So, and then Hitmontop I traded for Ferrothorn over the off season. This goes back to my quad fire weakness thing. Ferrothorn had not been getting very much playtime because I was always kind of paranoid of bringing 2 quad fire mons against against other teams, because I think it's really easy to prepare for, and especially because it's also weak to fighting, and I think those moves are very common in the GPA. So I got Hitmontop. It's spinner primarily, but it also has that, it could be a tech top, it could be, your standard top. Also I think I could incorporate that very nicely into my draft, or into my team this year. Draft. Moving on. My 2-year contracts that I picked up last season, being Latias, Kyurem Black, Arcanine, and Swampert. I think these 4 are going to be huge constituents in my team building. I can probably guarantee you that you will be seeing 2 of these in each battle this season. This season we'll be having 12 matches with a 16-team league with 4 teams in each. We have 2 conferences. I believe they're going to be the Johto and Kanto conferences, and then with 4 divisions being the red and blue in the Kanto Conference, and then gold and silver in the Johto Conference. If that had changed, then I am well unaware, but that's what I thought it was going to be as far as I was concerned. I know I'm in the Johto Conference. I just don't know if I'm a gold or silver yet. But my conference is John, aka Pokemon, Steve, Magnitude, the creator, and a newcomer, expansion team, A Drive. So it's a good mix. If you guys are curious, or if you just came from the GBA video, the coach breakdown video, I'll put a link to it in the description if you haven't seen it. But I explained, what I'm looking forward to in terms of battling the people that are in my division. So, hold on a second, and we're back. Sorry about that. So, looking at my 2-year contracts, Latias, Kyurem Black, both of them are dragon types. Latias can defog and be a hard special attacker, and it's fast. And the reason I when I was drafting, and I should wait to explain this, but Starmie, I loved using Starmie last season. I think it was really good, in terms of being versatile and hitting hard and having those good water stabs. But I have Latias, who kind of does his job just as well, and also gets defog. And I feel like I could use Latias as a replacement to not have Starmie anymore. And Kyurem Black just is a threat. Like, if you don't prepare to be hit with Fusion Bolts or Ice Attacks or Dragon Attacks, like, that thing will put holes in your team. And I'm sure there's a team or two that does not have a very good team to resist or be immune to electric. So, Kyurem, let's go. Yeah. And then Arcanine Swampert, easily 2 of my favorite Pokemon, just of all time. I love the bulk. I love the way that I could use them. Arcanine being the Intimidator, the Flash Fire, or not Justified though. That's not a thing. Just its moveset. And then Swampert, I love Blocky Pokemon. Then now going into my recent pickups. In the first round, I had the 6th or 7th pick, and I went with Clefable. Now, this was a pretty perfect pick for me. The way I look at the GBA, I don't play Showdown. I don't really plan on ever playing Showdown. I love mixed tier Wi-Fi battles. I love roulette battles. I love things that aren't standard, because I feel like a lot of people take this game and look at it under a magnifying glass. And when they do that, I kind of feel like you're not looking at what like you can do that thing outside the box. And I feel like Smogon and all that kind of just puts the metagame into kind of like a box, and I don't want to play inside that box, because I don't like us saying, oh well, I see an Alakazam, or I see I see a Hydreigon, and that I know what it's gonna do. Like, yeah, I know what it's gonna do, but I play the GBA, so I'm not gonna expect that, because this is a whole different ball game. Anyway, Clefable. Clefable was a perfect fit for the Sharpedos, because I already have 3 fairy type weaknesses, being Hitmontop, Latias, Kyurem, and I also have 2 dragon weaknesses, being Latias, Kyurem. So I think Clefable can kind of sponge those hits and use its typing, and then also it's bulky, and it has recovery, and it can set up, and it's unaware, and it's Magic Guard, and it can take all that into consideration and really use it for the benefits. I think it is the best fairy that you could possibly get. Just overall, I think it kind of translates as to why it's in OU and not lower. Alright, so, Propass. This was a very questionable pickup by me. This video is obviously going over 10 minutes, too. So I like Propass, and the reason I picked it up is because it resisted a lot of the things on my team that I was worried about, between Ice, Dragon, and Fairy. Now, I already have Staraptor, Latios, and that's it. Weak to Ice. And I figure, alright, so yes, Probass is to quad weaknesses to fighting and ground. But when you look at my team, you have Staraptor and Latias to be entirely immune to ground type attacks. And then if they're going to try and hit me special or physical, I have Swampert or I have even Clefable, like I said, to sponge those hits. Now, in terms of fighting, I have Clefable, which can switch into any fighting attack, special or physical. And then I have Latias, which can do the same thing, unless it's, it's like a Choice Banded Terrakion close combat, which is just... And then even if it's a physical attack, assuming I bring Arcanine or Hitmontop, they can come in and get that Intimidate drop, and if they're max defense, I'm sure they can take that hit and then do their best to retaliate. So, and then Probopass, I like his Volt Switching capabilities, because that gives me a little bit of momentum. Like, my problem with Ferrothorn is that, you can set up stuff, but you're kind of just in there like a sitting duck, and I'm all about trying to sustain momentum in my games, or I'm going to try looking at that, because I feel like there were a lot of times where I was on my heels and I was really trying to be reactive rather than proactive in my games. So I'm trying to fix that. And it sets up rocks, and then also can hit up. It can't hit that hard, but it's just there. It's bulky. Alright, then last pick I picked up, which I was surprised it made it this far, was Alakazam. I really like using Alakazam. I used it in my Maison run. It's a great special attacker, really fast, and also this thing is my answer, because John had picked up Starmie. Pokemon had picked up Starmie in the first round, so this is my answer to it. It's faster, unless he brings some kind of spooky scarfed Starmie. Then it's locked into a move, and I know, because it'll outspeed me, give me my Focus Sash, then I'll know it's faster, and whatever move it locks itself into, I could probably handle as necessary. So Alakazam, special attacker, very versatile in terms of what moves it can learn. You're fighting Ghost, Psychic, Grass, Electric, various hidden power values. I'm not worried about how I'm going to incorporate this. I just know that it's going to be very fun to have my opponent just whenever I bring it in, because obviously it outspeeds most of the metagame, assuming you're not scarfed. I could bring it in and then work with whatever I want to there. And then finally my mega pick. I had the 12th pick out of 16 teams, and a lot of the picks that went early were like Gardevoir, not Gardevoir. Did Gardevoir get picked? Well, Gardevoir did get picked before me, but I don't have the Mega Draft right in front of me. But the first pick was Mega Mawile. There was like Mega Pinsir went, Mega Scizor went. A lot of bulky or really hard-hitting physical attackers, and as it trickled down to me, I was looking at Pokemon I was going to pick, and I was split between Mega Manectric, Mega Slowbro, Mega Venusaur, and Mega Gallade. And Mega Gallade had gotten picked by Steve right before me. That wasn't a big deal because I didn't want to, accumulate another fairy weakness. That's something I also had to kind of worry about in terms of incorporating into my team overall. But instead, I went with Mega Venusaur because that fills out Fire, Water, Grass core. And not only that, but again, it's so damn bulky, and a lot of teams have trouble handling, a thick grass type. It has a poison coverage to, hit fairies. It has, grass with Giga Drain, so it can heal itself. Obviously, it has Leech Seed and Synthesis, and I can put on any kind of hidden power value. I'm not going to do some kind of sun bullshit. Well, I can't, but Thick Fat is a thing that allows me to be resistant to 2 of its weaknesses, or not resistant, but, to not take as much damage. And then all I have to worry about is just flying and being weak to ground. And I think I have, like I said, Latios, Staraptor, and Probopass for that. So, this went over 10 minutes. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear me ramble. I'll try and incorporate little graphics, but I'm no Photoshop whiz, and I'm not going to be putting fancy schmancy, pictures and images. I'll just put standard crop images of, or try and mash all 3 together into a very poorly word-painted image. Trying to learn how to use Camtasia and Photoshop, but I've been working 5 days a week, so I've been trying to balance out everything. But once the GBA starts, I'll get more involved into trying to make videos or make better videos. But unless you guys have a problem with how my videos were last season, I'm unaware. But let me know. So that was my draft breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking at 9:50 in the morning about the mons that I had chosen. I think this team is very solid, and I'm very much so looking forward to this team and how it's going to work this season. Because I think that this team is much better than the teams I've had in the past. I think things like Hydreigon and Ferrothorn and even Florges that I drafted prior were good picks, just not the best things that were for my team. Overall, I think this team is the best team I've made so far, and I'm happy that I can use it for a few seasons. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or anything to talk about, I will be looking at the comments. And yeah, tell your friends that I exist, and I will make a video sometime in the future. Not sure about what or when, but it might even be a Wi-Fi battle because I have a lot of those, and I'm going to be having a lot of them. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can look out for me asking for Wi-Fi battles. So yeah, all right, bye, bye, bye.